Hey, all you burning burners out there. Get ready to rock the night away with Jimmy and Bernie, live from the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia. We've got Bernie, we've got Jimmy. It's going to be a wonderful time. Two of my favorite old people. Very, very smart, very, very wise. Two people that most of the government isn't listening to right now. And we're going to listen to them talk about human rights. How you guys doing? At the Carter Center. It's good to see y'all. How are you? Thank you for that opening, Melissa H. Marcus is here. How are you doing? Got Kat and Barbara and Ashley. Hello, Ashley. And Jupiter Judy and who else is here? Lynn Vermont. Wow. David Hernandez dropped by earlier. Just going to Manic DBD. Thank you for all that, everybody. We're just going to hang out for 20 minutes here, waiting for the Carter Center to start the event on Facebook. They're only allowed to stream it to Facebook, so we're going to stream it to YouTube. We do this all the time for other events, just to help spread the word. It's just to inform the electorate, like we had expected corporate media to do for the last 50 years, and we've had to pick that up as independent media. Welcome, everybody. Are we awake? Yes? Doesn't matter what party you want to affiliate with. Make sure you're awake. You're doing good? Yes, the Burning German is here. Hi, guys. Hi, Barbara. Ashley's hoping you can edit while listening to this. I hope you can do that, too. Ashley was you guys don't know, he did roller derby the last 4 days. He was totally engulfed in roller derby world. Came out. We had a conversation earlier. I'm like, I need a card for this, that, and the other. Blah, blah. He's like, hang on. Still in roller derby. Audio went? Bad? Good? Bad? Problem? Should be good, everybody. Let me know if you're hearing anything weird. Thanks to you, I purchased 3 new Fancy Pants cables, and all 3 cables are connected, and we should have much better audio today, right now. Although I seem to be rather tall. Back. Anyway, burning the midnight oil. Yeah, it's late there. Jeez, it is late there, Marcus. We've got some stuff to talk about, right? There's been some stuff going on in the news, but I wanted to cover a few things. First, in the description of this YouTube event, there are links. Very important links, because thanks to the help of volunteers, you guys, and being able to organize this better. What? I'm sorry. Are we having technical difficulties? Let me know, you guys. Let me know. So anyway, audio here seems fine. Let me know in the audience if you guys are having technical difficulties. Marcus is not in with us, just so you know. He's hanging out in chat. 23 of you right here. The Carter Center is starting this at 6:20. So we're just got 20 minutes to hang. I'm waiting for them to show up with a Facebook event. If you guys see the event pop up before I do, say something, let me know, because oftentimes I don't catch it when that's going on. Starting up We the People again. That's what I wanted to say. Links in the description. You guys know who Stephen Jaffe is? You heard of this guy? He's the former Bernie Sanders volunteer in California. He's one of the lawyers who also filed some of the suits when they were dealing with the election rigging in California, primary rigging. And he is challenging Nancy Pelosi, one of the old tools in the shed. He's challenging Nancy for the Democratic seat in California. I think it's District 12. We're going to have Stephen Jaffe on Wednesday, the 17th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. We the People. Going to start that back up. And I am very, very excited to speak with Stephen Jaffe about what he's going to do, how he's going to win, and where he defines his differences. I know one of them is going to be health care, and I'm guessing another one's going to be money and politics. So it should be exciting. It should be very exciting. I refreshed. Now I have a black screen with buffering. Buffering? You guys are all buffering? Don't know, guys. Everything on this end says it's fantastic. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't have any issues coming on my end. That's very bizarre. I don't have any. Well, that's why we do a pre-show. That's why we do a pre-show. I don't have anything on my end. YouTube says we're doing great. My system says we're doing great. There's nothing I can do. I'm sorry, guys. Could be the time of day. Remember, we're just restreaming what's going on Facebook. So if you want to see this and you're having problems watching us on YouTube, just go to Facebook. Go to the link. I put the link in the description. This is not about competition. This is not about me getting views or anything. This is just about spreading the word. So go watch it where you can, and hopefully this will be working for you guys. Sorry about that. This is what we get for, not really having control of our internet, our data rates, our speeds. And really, no matter what you pay for, you're just going to get what you get. We have a very outdated infrastructure that's mostly under the control of cable companies. And they kind of do what they want. And they're going to get handed more freedom, aren't they? Be fun. There's another link, very, very important link in the description. It's a link to, we want your questions. You see this? We the people, ask candidate Stephen Jaffe a question. So in the show that we're going to do, I'm going to take the first portion of it. I've got a few specific questions for him. And then we're going to spend the rest of the time answering your questions. What do you want to know about Stephen Jaffe? So please go fill out this form. I'll be pushing this out on Twitter and in other shows tomorrow on Awake. We'll have that in the description. Please go ask your questions. I'd like to know what, you're going to get a chance to ask this candidate anything you want. There's no MSM press going to be around. There's no time on this unless he's got to run off and go do another thing. So join us for that. Should be fun. Does anybody is anybody able to see this? Or is the NSA completely blocking the entire event? I see we have 18 people watching, so I don't know. I don't know what to do, guys. Very, very sorry about that. Hopefully it won't be like this for the whole time for you guys. All right, so we talked about the form. Here's his Facebook. That's also in there. All right, go take a look at what he has to say. The LA Times did an article on Stephen Jaffe talking about, it says, pretty hardcore. He's a hardcore burner. Really holds to the Bernie virtues, so we're excited about that. Jill Love says, John, we can't find you. Where is Doc Brown if you need him? Yeah, it's going on there on Facebook at 6:20. Oh, I'm sorry, Jilly Love. What about Marcus? Did the German lose it? David Hernandez? Video keeps lagging. I don't know what to say, guys. Don't know what to say. Again, YouTube says everything's fine and dandy. So I don't know what's happening. I'm just going to continue on. And we'll continue to monitor the Carter Facebook page. We've got 12 minutes. All right. But for right now, if you guys can hear this, this has been going around the internet. This is ABC News recorded this. This woman at a town hall with Representative Tom Reed. She's a veteran, and she hands Tom his ass about single payer and how things work. It's a little hard to hear. They got the text underneath, which is good, but this is definitely worth listening to.
Government can take care of this for all of us.
The government doesn't take care of it. They just do the bookkeeping. The insurers do bookkeeping for a profit on your back, on your back, on your back. Right. The VA does bookkeeping on my behalf. I'm a veteran. Everyone here deserves single-payer health care now.
There you go. Most of Americans agree with her. Oddly, the only people that disagree are government officials. Really. And the uninformed. I know apparently we're having some technical difficulties, some buffering on this. I hope that when the Carter event goes, you guys are going to be able to see it. I don't know what's going on. I have no control over it. This is all YouTube. On my end, it shows that things are fine. So, sorry for that, guys. There's really nothing I can do. until there's nothing I can do. Just watch Clapper reassure Congress the Russians interfered with our election since 60s, but still no proof. Melissa H., you have to install live stream on your Facebook. You've never had to do that before? Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with that either. I've never had to do that. It's just they're just going to push up an event. It's just going to show up on their page. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Hey, William, how you doing? Patricia, how you doing? Metalhead, Joseph, Cat, how are y'all? All right, I'm gonna run something else here. Another thing on Twitter, awesome. This young lady, this is 45, attempting to, use a young girl as a photo op. He's fond of using women. He's trying to use this young girl for a photo op. She, again, hands him an ass and takes a picture, probably of his reaction. I'd love to see the photo she gets of this. I don't think there's any audio. Okay, there is that. That's awesome. Do you hear that? You're a disgrace to the world. Little girl nails it. Absolutely. Night, Marcus. See you in the morning. I thought that was awesome. That's just wonderful. You can see thumbnails on the bar, but no video. You guys should try closing your Chrome and reopening it or something. I don't know. That's my IT support suggestion for now. We're gonna watch Bernie Sanders here. This is we've all been kind of waiting on this. I think we've all been kind of waiting on this to hear Bernie say something about what went on with the Democratic Party, something about him being screwed, something about him not being treated fairly. And we all know right now, obviously, that the DNC has, because of the lawsuit, stated, yeah, we did what we wanted to do. We didn't have to go by your votes. We're a private party. 2 years ago, Scott Galindez said that to all of us. DNC's a private party. They can do what they want. And we went, no, America, democracy, Constitution. Nope, DNC's a private party. They can do what they want. That's true. It's just full of a bunch of corrupt people. We don't want the corrupt people. We want the resources that those people have. So we're going to get rid of the corrupt people like Nancy Pelosi, and we're going to bring in good people like Steve and Jaffe. Right? That's how this works. Yeah, Luis, I'm sorry. YouTube is messing up with you. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, guys. Why this would be blocked. You guys are still having issues. Maybe YouTube knows we're grabbing Facebook and they've worked out a deal. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. I hope not all of you are having these problems, although right now it looks like we got, how many people are watching? 17. With 397 playbacks, probably 397 attempts to make this work. If there's a bunch of you out there watching and you're having a good time, if one of you could just comment in the comments, yes, I can see you, that would be great. But at this point, it seems like everybody is not able to see what's going on. More than likely a YouTube problem. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Because here, smooth sailing. This is Bernie Sanders, though, answering. This is from Inquisitor. When asked about DNC Unity Tour, Bernie Sanders says, I know what happened during my campaign. This is, talk about a man who is able to deal with being screwed for the sake of the planet, right?
What I am trying to do now is to transform the Democratic Party.
A lot of your progressive supporters aren't very happy seeing you out on a unity tour with the DNC. They say this is a party that burned you, that undermined your campaign, that is not moving to the left, that has not learned its lessons from the election. Why waste your time on them?
Okay, that is a good question. It's a fair question. But you gotta, in the world that I live in, this is not personal stuff. This is for the children. This is for our parents and grandparents. This is for the planet if we don't transform our energy system away from fossil fuels. So we don't take these things personal. I know what happened during my campaign, but I also know what Trump and his extreme right-wing billionaire friends are capable of doing to this country. So what I am trying to do now is to transform the Democratic Party, transform it. And we're having some success. and that is make it into a grassroots party where you come in. You want to come in, you come in. And you go to the meetings. And what's happening in California, progressives are gradually taking over the Democratic Party. We're seeing really good things in many parts of this country. Come on in, fight for a progressive agenda. And that's what I am trying to do now. Now, will I succeed? I can't give you that answer. Maybe I won't. Maybe the resistance is so strong. But I do want to also say to you, as somebody who knows, I think, more about this than anybody in Congress, doing third-party politics is not so easy. And if you think, oh boy, we don't like the Democrats, we're going to start a third party, and wow, in a couple of years, maybe, maybe. But that has not been the history of the United States.
I wanted to ask you about that. Your friend, Dr. Cornel West, in addition to people who worked on your campaign, have said, let's leave the DNC. We need to go start this third party, this populist progressive People's Party, and we want Senator Bernie Sanders at the helm and running.
I love Cornel.
Do you accept the invitation?
No, I don't. Right now, what I am trying to do is to transform the Democratic Party. Starting a third party, it is easy to start it. It is a lot more difficult to make it into a strong reality. That's just an historical fact.
I really, really hope that you get to hear that. And that's AJ Plus that put together that great interview in that video. Guys, just to let you know, hey, Fluffy Bunny, thank you for letting me know that everything's fine on your iPhone and iPad. It just seems that there's a lot of traffic. It is 6 p.m. Basically, it's rush hour for the internet on the East Coast, right? And we're hitting rush hour in LA. LA starts rush hour at 3 anyway, if you know that. So I just want to let you guys know, I'm looking at the 2-minute countdown for the Carter Center broadcast on Facebook right now. So I'm watching it. I'm set. They're going in 2 minutes. They're starting, or they always say they're starting in 2 minutes. I'm gonna bring that up. We're gonna stream it. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch it. If not, go to Facebook, watch it there. Hopefully, it'll work better there. This is just about getting the information out there. We want to hear these two brilliant men, these wise men, talk about, human rights. And well, we seem to be in decline of human rights in America today. Our country was supposedly founded on the idea of basic human rights for all. That's gone. Maybe we never really had that, but there have been times in our history where we were a lot closer to achieving that than today. And we need to transform the Democratic Party, like Bernie said. And what I keep talking about, infrastructure, that's what you don't understand. Yeah, we can create a new party, yay. You get them able to have ballots in every state, get them able to have the infrastructure, find all that funding, all that stuff that the Democratic Party's been building up for years and years and decades, all the connections, all the networks, all that stuff. No, you can't. We don't have time. We don't have time. We got to save the planet. We have to conquer the party that exists. And Bernie, that's where he's going. I'm going to go with Bernie. He's my leader. I'm going to go where the leader says to go. So, Facebook Carter Center said it was go live in 1 minute. Yes, Julie Love. Yes, it does. Man, I'm sorry, you guys still buffering. A whole 14 viewers here. Thank you, 14 viewers. Sorry we've got nothing happening. We are just going to sit here for the next minute and see what happens with the Carter Center. And push that over as soon as it goes live. So how about the FCC investigating Colbert, which is bullshit. The FCC only does investigations when somebody says, hey, you should go investigate this, by the way. So we could submit, Carter Center's up. Let's go.
And then my son was born. On Christmas Eve, I watched him ceremoniously put the milk and cookies by the fire for Santa Claus. And after he went to sleep, I then drank the milk and ate the cookies. I wanted him to wake up and see them gone in the morning. I wanted him to believe in a world that was magical. But I am leaving my son a world that is more dangerous than the one that I was in. Because we are raising a brown boy in America. A brown boy who may someday wear a turban as part of his faith. And in America today, as we enter an era of enormous awakening. As hate acts against Sikhs and our Muslim brothers and sisters are at an all-time high, I know that there will be moments, whether on the streets or in the schoolyard, where my son will be seen as foreign, as suspect, as a terrorist. Just as black bodies are still seen as criminal. Brown bodies are still seen as illegal. Trans bodies are still seen as immoral. Indigenous bodies are still seen as savage. The bodies of women and girls seen as someone else's property. And when we see these bodies, not as brothers and sisters, then it becomes easier to bully them, to rape them, to allow policies that neglect them, that incarcerate them, that kill them. Yes, Rabbi. The future is dark. On this New Year's Eve, this watch night, I close my eyes and I see the darkness of my grandfather's cell. And I can feel the spirit of ever-rising optimism in the Sikh tradition, Chardi Kala, within him. And so the mother in me asks, what if? What if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if our America...
Testing, testing. There we are. Yes.
Can you hear me too? Yeah.
Yes, maybe this is our nation's great transition. As Valerie Kaur said, we're living in a very difficult time, as we've been hearing the last 3 days. From all over the world, we have human rights activists from 31 countries, from every region, that have come together to really consult together. What do we do in these difficult times? How do we breathe and push? How do we push forward together? So it is our honor and privilege to have with us tonight two of America's most admired leaders. For a conversation about how do we stand again for human rights in the world? How does America, as imperfect as it is when it comes to human rights, bring back human rights to the centerpiece of our lives? I'd like to start with you, President Carter, question for you. If you could just summarize what you've heard today, where are we and what do we need to do now?
Well, I think the best comment I heard today that summarizes it was that we are struggling now to keep going what we achieved in the past. We've slipped backwards in human rights all over the world. And one of the key reasons is that other countries that used to use the United States of America as kind of a beacon light of truth and human rights and justice and freedom no longer can see us as a beacon light of hope and about the future. And quite often a government that's inclined to violate human rights, when they see the United States abandon that as one of our key elements of foreign policy, they say, well, it's okay for us to do it now. So I think we've seen the entire world slip backward, in effect, in honoring and promoting and championing and fighting for human rights and holding it as a key guide for all of us.
Yes. Senator Sanders, how do you see this problem now going forward as America hopes to really be a leader on human rights? We're in a difficult time. What would you say is our priority now?
Before I respond to that, let me just express my joy at being here at the Carter Center with a man who not only is respected by the vast majority of the people of our country, those who may agree with him politically and those who disagree, but who has lived his life, and Mrs. Carter and Amy, with incredible dignity, so that we are all so proud of what you have achieved as president and after president. So I'm just delighted to be here. Let me answer your question by saying I'm not, I think, going to say anything that will shock anybody in this room. I don't think the leadership of this country today, in fact, believes very strongly in human rights. That's not what they believe in. We are in a new moment, in a pivotal moment in American history. We have a president, and again, I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, least of all the president, but he is, in contrast to the gentleman here, we have a president who lies all of the time. And it is very hard to deal. I don't mind people disagree. We may disagree. People disagree with each other. It's called democracy. I'm often asked, well, what did you think about what President Trump said yesterday? And it's hard to answer because his view will be different tomorrow. And very often factually, what he says is just not correct. And when you talk about human rights, it's important that we do not allow the normalization of a situation in which a president basically says that all of the media in this country, New York Times, the Washington Post, a whole lot of them. Believe me, I have problems with the media. But to suggest that all of the media are providing fake news and that really the only person in America, the only source of information that we can get, that we can trust, comes from the tweets of President Trump. How crazy is that? And then you have attacks on the judiciary, so-called judges who disagree with the decision. Thank God that they ruled against some of his executive orders. And then you have him with a very positive relationship with Mr. Putin, who has moved his country into a very authoritarian direction, as well as other global leaders who, in fact, do not particularly believe in democracy. So that is where I see us today.
And how do you both explain the rise of authoritarianism? Where's this coming from?
Well, I think the root of it is something that I haven't heard discussed much. I told a group today that in 1999, at the end of the last millennium, in the beginning of 2000, I was asked to make speeches in Oslo, Norway, and also in Taiwan. And my subject was, what is the greatest challenge to be faced by the next century? And I said the disparity between rich people and poor people. And I think that is the case not only between people who live in a country, but also between nations. And I believe that the root of a downturn in human rights preceded 2016. It began earlier than that. And I think the reason was the disparity in income, which has been translated into the average person, good, decent, hardworking, middle-class people feeling that they are getting cheated by the government and by society. And they don't get the same element of health care. They don't get the same quality education. They don't get the same political rights, particularly after the stupid decision of the Supreme Court on Citizens United, where they said that it's an unlimited amount of money going into campaigns. But now they feel that even in politics, their choice of a candidate to be president or governor or congressman or whoever is not the same as a rich person's. And also, once that candidate gets in office, if he's successful, quite often the average person feels that they are repaying their contributions with legal bribery, and it's legal. And the justice system has also gone down. Long before we had this last election, when I left the White House, for instance, 1 out of 1,000 people were in prison. Now, 7 people out of 1,000 are in prison. 7 times as many people who are Americans are now in prison as they were just when I left the White House. So the feeling of an average person that I'll be treated fairly by the justice system is missing. So, basic human rights, income, status in society, health care, education, participation in politics, justice, the things in which we used to have complete faith now have been distorted by the rich people getting richer and the poor people getting poorer. And when the rich people get a candidate in office, they can be sure that the tax laws and everything else are going to keep them getting richer and richer, where the average person suffers. So I think that dissatisfaction with the existing system of politics resulted in the outcome of the election in 2016 in the United States. People were willing just to take a chance and to abandon democracy and what we know about is basic principles and try something new, no matter what it was.
One of our participants, Mina Kiai, said market fundamentalism is the driving force behind this. What do you think, Senator Sanders? How do you explain the rise of authoritarianism?
I agree with everything that President Carter said. Look, here is the situation. You got all over this country tens of millions of people who are extremely angry and they are disappointed. Now, we all know that as a result of technology, workers are producing more today than they did 20 or 30 years ago. And yet the